Next time I'll get it right, but for now I'll stay right here where I belong.
You have an amazing opportunity, young generation, to rise above and be proud of the choices you're making, and get out of a codependent culture and be responsible for you and work harder in your life than anyone else ever will.
What do you want? What do you want out of your life? Where do you want to go? If no one else will fight, I'll be the one. I'll be the one to step into their world. I'll be the one to walk with them.
And I mean it more than you'll ever know.
Some people will ghost you. Well, then maybe they're not real friends. At some point in time in your life, you are gonna have to come face to face with yourself.
Next time I'm getting it right. Will you believe me if I say this is the last time?
And then she points at me and she goes, there's greatness inside of you. Sometimes we need people to believe things for us until we can believe it for ourselves. Because I look at what I'm doing now and it's not lining up with what they said I couldn't do. And now I'm doing everything that people said I couldn't do. Because now I travel the world and I share my story.
Next time I'll get it right, but for now I'll stay right here where I belong.
And by the time I was 26, I was sitting in 30-day inpatient treatment for alcohol. My family wanted nothing to do with me, couldn't hold a job. I was codependent, all because I thought I could get away with it. I should probably have about 10 DUIs. I only have 2. My last one was June 24th, 2010. That was the DUI that changed my life.
For it to hurt more, to stay the same. When I get through this storm, I'll find it on my own. And I'll mean it more than you'll ever know.
And so I'm going to talk about connection and belonging. We're looking for a place to belong where someone can come out and say, hey, we want you here. I want you here. We want you around. We say we live in such a connected world. If that's the case, if we really say we're more connected, then why is everybody more depressed?
There's no dumb kid. There's no worthless kid. There's only kids that have been starved of love and have been wounded so badly, they're just looking for a place to lay. We can't change the history, but we can help shape their future.
Next time I'm getting it right.
Take one thing that you want to focus on to overcome in your life. Take one thing at a time and walk through the process. The process is only a process if one stays in it. If you don't stay in the process, then it's no longer a process.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Pure Purpose Podcast. I hope you enjoyed last week's episode with emotional maturity. We're going to jump right into this today. I'm going to talk about the art of value, okay, and turning value into your biggest asset. A lot of you may be thinking that there's nothing valuable about you. I'm here to tell you that that is actually not correct. At the end of the day, we are all valuable. I've touched on this before many times in this podcast. And at the end of the day, I want to go deeper. I want to show you how valuable you are. I want to show you how valuable others in your life are and people that you just interact with on a daily basis. And I want to tell you how to find that value in many different ways. And there's going to be a few parts in this. And one of the things we're going to talk about is pride and ego versus humility. Okay, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to show you the difference. And then there's a little test courtesy of something I found on Instagram, and I want to share that with you today. But we're going to jump right into this, okay? And so the first one is we're going to talk about, because it's important, if we can see the values in others, that means we know the values inside of ourselves. And I believe that the key to your breakthrough as a person, the key to having amazing relationships in your life, the key to accomplishing great things in your life has to do with how well you are certain about yourself and how well you can see other people and the value that they bring. So one of the things we're going to talk about this, we have so many things that we can draw off of other people, okay? If we just take the time to observe and listen and see what abilities they may have, even the conversations that you have with them. The conversations that you have with them, okay? Who they are as people, looking at the things that they do so well, looking at their interactions, how do they handle conflict, different things like that. There is so much value that you can see in other people, and you can take that and you can draw off of them, and you can say, man, I love that aspect of them, so I'm going to take that and apply that to my life. Oh man, I love how they talk to other people, and I love how they handle conflict, so I'm going to take that and apply that to my life. Does that mean you'll take everything? No, it doesn't. But the biggest part of the value becoming your main asset is how well you can first see it in other people. Because if you can see it in other people, then you're going to be able to see it in yourself first. And I believe that we don't value others enough. I believe that we don't value certain things enough anymore. In our society, we have learned to say, well, you can value me, but I don't have to value you. No, I don't believe in that. I believe that we value the things, okay, that are inside of us. And I believe that we oppose the things that are inside of others that we wish were inside of us, okay? We have to get to a place with that where we understand there is value in every single thing, every interaction, every person, every situation, every hardship, every triumph. All those things, there's so much value that we can draw off of. And so understanding how to do that, you will turn a lot of things for the better for yourself. Okay. Where is the value inside of you? Okay. That's the next thing to look for. The value inside of you. Many times we think that value only comes down to money, monetary, but within us lies value that we may not even know about. Here's a good way to find out where your value is. Okay. Ask people, the people that you know that love you, the people that you love, the people that have gained understanding and they've taken time to invest into your heart, the people that understand and have journeyed through life with you. Take time to ask them, hey, what do you love about me? And they may say, you know what? I've seen you go through some really hard things in this last year. And I love the way that you handle that. That can show you that your value lies in that you're able to do hard things and get through hard situations. And at the end of the day, it doesn't derail you. That's value, right? You're going to know when people are going through life with you, when hard things happen, they're going to be able to draw that off of you. Okay. They're going to be able to say, man, I love how they do hard things and I'm not very good at doing hard things. So I'm going to pull that from this person. Okay. That's how we see. Another thing is they may say, I just love how creative you are. Oh, wow. That's value. Why? Because being creative can create resources for you in the long run. Being creative can help you with class projects. Being creative can help you with coaching. Being creative can help you with leading. Okay. A lot of different things. You are able to create things. Okay. That's value. A lot of people can say, oh man, I'm going to pull that from them. Okay. There's a lot of so many different things, and it's just easy to find out. I just had a conversation yesterday, actually, with my buddy, and actually it was a week ago, excuse me. But I had a conversation with a good friend of mine, and one of the things that we talk about all the time is, man, the value that we see in each other. He said, man, you draw a lot of stuff out of me, is what he told me. And one of the things that I told him, I said, man, I love how you call me up. I love how you're able to just share things, and I'm able to just to say, man, that really challenges me in a good way. And so that's the value we see in each other, right? He sees value in me, I see value in him. Well, because of that, we're able to continue to build a strong relationship, a strong bond. And at the end of the day, that's where we grow together. Okay. So understanding that's where, ask people what they love about you. Ask people what they love about you and then be able to draw off of that. Be able to draw off of that, okay? That's one of the biggest things. Pride versus humility, okay? This is a huge, huge one, okay? Let me tell you the difference between pride and ego and humility, okay? And by the way, this is a great value to have. This right here is going to open a lot of doors for you that you wouldn't even know were available to you, okay? Pride lifts you up. That's what it does. It lifts you up over the next person, okay? It makes them feel small, okay? And you feel super big. And this is achieved in a lot of ways, okay? But it's not good. Humility lifts others up around you and doesn't take away from your value, okay? It actually adds to your value and adds to their value. And pride will diminish not only your value, but everyone else's value around you. That's the difference between pride and humility. It's not to say, oh, I'm more than you. I think more of myself than I ought. That's not the goal. The goal is humility. Pride will literally destroy things around you. And one of the biggest things it will destroy is the relationships in your life. It will destroy opportunities for you. Okay? I can tell you right now, I don't deal with prideful people. Okay? I don't deal with, this is something that I had to kill in me. And this took years to kill. And there's times where I'll be honest, it can come poking out. But the real humility is to say, I see when that's happening. It's time to lay that back down. And that's when I like to go get out of myself. That's when I like to go do things for other people. That's when I like to go encourage someone. Because too much sitting in yourself will create more pride in your life. And more pride will create more damage in your life. Okay? And so I want us to understand this. Value yourself and value others always leads to empowering them in ways that will help them move forward in life, never make them step backwards, never shrink them back, always bring them forward. Okay, we have to understand this today. You have so much value inside of you. I've shared this story on here before, but this is, maybe I have, I can't remember, but I'm going to share it again because it bears repeating. And this isn't about a story about, oh, look how amazing I am. No, this is just a story to see what happens when you operate out of value. Value opens so many doors for you that you wouldn't even dream of, okay? And I'm talking about valuing others and them valuing you, okay? It was years ago. I was living in Nebraska, and I got a job working as a substitute janitor for a school district because I needed a job. And so what happened was I would get a call every day because there was always a need. And so I'd go to this school and this school and this school. And it was actually, I enjoyed it. I was able to put my music on or my podcast, whatever it was at the time, or sermons. I can't exactly remember what it was, but I would always listen because at that point in my life, I was starting to turn a page. I was starting to really turn the corner in the life that I had been living. And I didn't know how achievable it was yet, but I knew that it wasn't far off if I just kept going forward. And it's really when I had a chance to discover myself. That was a time where I really had to discover who I was and what I wanted and, you know, what type of man I was and different things like that. But I went to a school one day. It was actually a middle school in that school district. And I got there a little early, and I actually just, for some reason, wandered into the office, or there was like a place where there's like a concession stand, it looked like, and they were back there, but I was standing on the other side of it. And there was a lady and a man there, and I just started talking to them. And they were asking me a lot of curious questions about getting to know who I was. And I was talking back and answering them. I was asking them questions, you know, because back then even, I loved people, and I loved getting to know people, and I loved being interested in other people's lives. And so one of the things with that is we just had conversation. I kind of shared some vulnerability, I believe, about my life and, you know, just talking, but they never in that conversation told me who they were. The next morning, I actually get a call from the lady that schedules all the substitutes, and they say, "Hey, last night you were at Mission Middle School, right?" It's like, "Yeah, I was there." And they said, "Do you know who you were talking to?" I said, "No, I don't." Like, "That was the principal and the dean of students. Bobby, they were so impressed with you that they want you to come be a para for them." I'm like, "Really?" And I had worked jobs with youth before, but I really didn't know that would be my path. But it was like an opportunity. So I was like, "Yeah, I'll come do that." And so I actually went there for the first day. I think it might have been that day or the next day. I can't exactly remember. But then they said, "Hey, we don't really have a position for you, but we want to keep you. So we're going to create one." And I said, "Wow." And so they created a para job for me. And from that point forward, I was able to show up every day as a para. Now, there were some things that were going on in my life that I was trying to navigate through. So it was, still learning how to be emotionally mature, like I talked about in the last episode, and how to show up every day as an adult. And like I said, this was years ago, show up every day as an adult and do my job and not let what was going on in my life affect my everyday life. But, I would say that I probably didn't do that the best in the long run overall in that season of my life. But it did set me up later on to mature in other areas. But it was just so cool that by a conversation, they saw the value in me and they gave me an opportunity. Value creates opportunities for you that you never even thought were possible. This is another big indicator. This could open a career field for you because people see things in you that you may not see in yourself, and they say, "Man, I see that skill set, and that's going to be really good over here." And I remember some of the kids that I interacted with that year. There was one kid that wouldn't open up to anybody. By the end of that year, he was opening up. And he said the next year I moved up to the high school, and I wasn't working with him directly, but I remember him coming up to me. I'll never forget this. And he said, "I just want to thank you for everything you did for me last year, because that really changed it all." And that right there, man, to this day, that was one of the most impactful things on my life. To know that what I had inside of me to that point in my life, because I'd been through some things, that what I had inside of me at that point in time literally helped change someone else's life. And that was before all of this. That was before this was even a twinkle in my eye. And I'm like, man, that is how we all should be when it comes to interacting with people in our everyday lives. Strangers, people that we love, that we know really well. We need to be always looking for the value inside of them, the ways that we can say, "Man, I wonder where they'd be a good fit in my life." And not everyone, of course, will be there, right, in your life. But I tell you this, even simple, short interactions with them are going to be powerful. Okay. The last thing I want to tell you when it comes to this is don't downgrade your value. I'm going to be honest, y'all. There's going to be a lot of people that may not see it. I'll be honest. I was in that situation for a few years. A lot of people didn't see my value. And that's not an easy pill to swallow. I get it. But let me just tell you something. Okay. There is a difference between ego and confidence in who you are. And if you understand the value inside of you, okay, and you really get the value inside of you, you'll be confident in who you are. Sure, that may rub some people the wrong way, but it doesn't have to change who you are. And that is not grounds to change who you are. Matter of fact, it's an opportunity to empower that person to see the value in themselves. Okay? There is a difference between ego and confidence and what you bring to the table. Be confident in what you bring to the table. Okay? Don't think higher of yourself than you ought. You're valuable, but so many other people are valuable. Okay? And all of us bringing our value to the table will contribute something powerful to our world. Okay? But sometimes they won't value you, and that's okay. Okay? But it doesn't change your value. I've said this on here before, I believe. If you get a crisp $100 bill handed to you and you find a tattered, haggard $100 bill on the street, it doesn't change its value. It's still worth $100, right? And so at the end of the day, your value doesn't change because someone doesn't see it. Okay? Honestly, what it does is shows a lack of value what they see in themselves. And sometimes people just need you to help them see their value. Because we all want to know we're valuable. We all want to know that we're valuable. A buddy said this to me recently. There's a revelation that he got. And he said, wouldn't it be unfortunate? This is what he heard. Wouldn't it be unfortunate, okay, that a diamond stayed stuck in the mud? We're all diamonds. We all carry value, right? And for us to be stuck and hidden away is not going to shine to the world. But if we can continue to understand that, hey, let's get up out of the mud, let's wash off, bring other people around you that'll help you wash off, the value, I'm telling you, that changes when you know you're valuable. And you start living your life a little bit different. You start walking a little bit different. You start talking a little bit different. And not to mention, that's how you impact people around you. And that's how people will say, I'm going to draw off of that because I really see how that has changed your life. Okay? There's a pride test I want you to take because this will help you actually get to a place where you understand, okay, that humility is a breeding ground to pull your value out. Pride diminishes it. Okay? And so I want us to understand this today. So there's like 10 questions that I'm going to ask you with this. And I just want you to assess it. Okay? I want you to assess this. Do you long for a lot of attention? Okay? And by the way, this is not mine. This is from a guy named Ian Simpkins from the Bridge Church in Tennessee. Okay? So this is his. I just read it this morning. A friend sent it to me and I thought it was just amazing. And so I wanted to see. So this is a good indicator, a good test of where you may be at. Okay. Do you long for a lot of attention? Are you often making a scene so that people notice that you're upset? Okay. That's pride. Okay. Number 2 is, do you become jealous or critical of people who succeed? Do you find yourself saying, I can't believe they got that job. I can't believe that they got that spot. I can't believe whatever it is. Okay. It's showing that you're jealous of other people's accomplishments. Do you always have to win? Some of us have family members who know not to play Monopoly with us, right? Or whatever it is. Okay. Do you have a pattern of lying? Lying is essentially pride manifested in not wanting the real you exposed. Okay. That's a lot of an indicator that you may be prideful. Do you have a hard time acknowledging you are wrong? Okay. Are you the kind of person that squirms when cornered and tries to deflect to another issue? Okay. Do you have a lot of conflicts with other people? Are you always the common denominator? That is a big indicator that you are prideful. Okay. Do you often cut in line where it is, right? Maybe the lunch line. Oh, I'm not going to wait in line. I'm going to go. Right. Okay. Number 8 is, do you get upset when people don't honor your achievements, when you feel like you're not celebrated? Okay. Are you wondering why? Where are my accolades? Where are they at? Number 9 is, do you tend to feel more entitled than thankful? Is it a situation where you're like, I deserve that, but I'm not thankful for it? And the last one is, do you feel you are superior to others? Meaning, do you feel that you pump up yourself over them? Okay, we talked about that earlier in this podcast. There's a score 1 through 10, okay? If you have any of those scores, that means you're prideful. 0 points, you're really prideful, okay? And we're all going to struggle with pride to some degree, right? It's never a thing where it will always go away, but there is a way, okay, to work on it and kill it in your life. And so if you answered any of these 1 through 10, okay, at all, 10, obviously, I believe, meaning the most prideful, 1 leading the least, okay? You're prideful a little bit, but if you answered any of them 0, that means you're really, really prideful, meaning you're not being honest with yourself and you probably cannot see it. Okay? You are all so valuable. No, I'm talking to you. You're valuable. It's time that we get ourselves up out of the mud, go wash off, and let our value shine to the world. Just because other people don't see it yet doesn't mean that they're not going to see it one day. I promise you, the value that lies within you has a chance to change you and everyone else around you's entire lives. So keep searching for the gold. You're going to be okay. I'm with you. We are in this together. So much gold inside that's going to bring the greatness outside of you, and you're going to be able to walk in that towards your destiny. Continue to live full and a whole life. Excited to be on this journey with you. Okay? Keep climbing, and I'll see you next time.
Next time